today's newspaper. Uh, Let me start. First news is about international matter. It is about Iran rejects US truce plan, issues counter proposal, deepening crisis. Pak transmits proposals, US to send more troops. So this battle will not stop, I think. Iran on Wednesday dismissed an American plan to pause the war in West Asia and launched more attacks on Israel and Gulf Arab countries, including an assault that sparked a huge fire at Kuwait International Airport. Iran's defiance came as Israel launched airstrikes on Tehran and as the US deployed paratroopers and more marines to the region. Iranian state television's English language broadcaster Press TV quoted an anonymous official as saying Iran rejected America's ceasefire proposal. Press TV's report came after Pakistan transmitted the proposal to Iran. Iran will end the war when it decides to do so and when its own conditions are met. Press TV quoted the official as saying. Earlier, two officials from Pakistan described the 15-point US proposal broadly, saying it addressed sanctions relief, a rollback of Iran's nuclear program, limits on missiles, and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. An Egyptian official involved in the mediation efforts said the proposal also includes restrictions on Iran's support for armed groups. The official spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss details not yet released. Some of those points were non-starters in negotiations before the war. Iran has insisted it won't discuss its ballistic missile program or its support of regional militias, which it views as key to its security, and its ability to control passage through the Strait of Hormuz represents one of its biggest strategic advantages. Press TV cited an Iranian 5-point plan for a ceasefire from the official who rejected the US proposal. That plan included a halt to killings of its officials, means to make sure no other war is waged against it. Reparations for the war, the end of hostilities, and Iran's exercise of sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, let us see what India's opinion about this. Okay, dismissing Pakistan's efforts as a mediator between Iran and the US, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Tuesday told leaders at an all-party meeting that India does not view itself as a halal like Pakistan. Halal means broker. There is nothing new in Pakistan's mediation efforts as that country has been used by the US since 1981. Jaishankar said during the all-party meeting convened by the government to discuss the West Asia crisis. Jaishankar was responding to a question by Mukul Wasnik on Pakistan's role as a mediator. The government said that Modi had made it clear to Trump that India wants to see the war coming to an end as it is affecting everyone. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh chaired the meeting and it was attended by Home Minister Amit Shah, Kiran Rijiju, Nirmala Sitharaman, J.P. Nadda, among others. Okay, and about a new bill about NGOs, let me read it. A bill seeking to empower a designated authority to take over, manage or dispose of assets created out of foreign funds by an NGO that lose their license was introduced in the Lok Sabha on Wednesday. The Union government said that those engaged in forced and illegal religious conversions using foreign donations will face action amid three opposition MPs raising objections to the introduction of the Foreign Contribution Amendment Bill 2026. Minister of State for Home Nityanand Rai said that government will not tolerate any misutilization of foreign funding and will take strong action against such elements, insisting that the bill aims to enhance transparency and ensure proper utilization of the foreign funds. Rai countered the charges that the proposed law is dangerous. He said that it is indeed dangerous for those who engage in forced, illegal religious conversion using foreign funds, as well as to individuals who abuse foreign funding for personal gain. Rai went on to add that there is nothing to worry for genuine operators who go by the constitution and law of the land and work for the betterment of the country. Key proposals include a designated authority will oversee foreign contributions and upon cancellation or surrender of an FCRA license, take control of assets. Comprehensive framework for vesting, supervision, management and disposal of foreign contributions and assets. The bill proposes to make key functionaries liable for offences under FCRA unless they can provide evidence of lack of knowledge or due diligence. Okay, there is a new report about liability. Compared Bangalore to Hyderabad. Let us see. Hyderabad has beaten Bengaluru to emerge as the most livable metropolitan city in India, according to a new report that studied 15 metrics to capture overall ease of living in 8 different cities. While factors such as housing and diversity pushed the ranking for Hyderabad, commute time and infrastructure pulled Bangalore down to the second place. These findings were part of the report We Are City 2026, published by Unboxing BLR, a non-profit organization based in Bengaluru. The data report was released during the Indiaspora Global AI Summit on Wednesday. The report reveals how the two southern tech hubs are now powering over half of India's urban growth momentum by reshaping jobs, consumption, mobility, and the future of Indian cities. Called City Indices, the 159-page report carries a section which ranks 8 cities on ease of living using metrics such as commute, diversity, going out, housing and infrastructure, and lastly weather. Hyderabad topped the chart overall, followed by Bengaluru and Kolkata. While Ahmedabad featured at the bottom, Chennai, Delhi NCR, Pune and Greater Mumbai were ranked 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th respectively. Interestingly, the Karnataka capital has emerged as a tale of extremes. Okay, let me read some other news. Reading newspaper is a good habit, and my intention or the why I am reading this newspaper is I want to become a fluent English speaker. So one of the strategies we should use to become a fluent speaker is reading the newspaper daily. I know I have lot of I do lot of grammar mistakes while speaking, but still making corrections will definitely make my English very good, I hope so. And if anything, definitely I do mistakes. Please correct me, those who are very expert or very comfortable in English, okay. Okay, one of the most important topic I I like is about Western Ghats. Let me read one news about Western Ghats. It is related to our region. I mean, to our district. Environmentalists expressed concerns over the ecological impact of large-scale development projects on the Western Ghats at a workshop organized by the Human Rights Protection Foundation, Udupi, in association with the Vaikunta Baliga Law College on the college premises on Wednesday. Noted environmentalist Nirmala Gowda said the Western Ghats were not merely a regional or national asset but a global ecological treasure. Protecting this ecologically sensitive region is a collective responsibility. Highlighting the ecological significance of the Western Ghats, she said the mountain range stretching from Tapi in Gujarat to Kanyakumari was home to over 59 rare and endangered species of flora and fauna. Species such as the king cobra, pangolin, tiger, and the endangered lion-tailed macaque, now found only in the Sharavati river basin, are under threat. Referring to legal safeguards, she pointed out that under Section 29 of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, construction activities are prohibited in wildlife sanctuaries except those necessary for conservation purposes. She raised concerns over the proposed Sharavati pumped storage project, stating that the scale of the infrastructure comparable to multiple football stadiums in length and high-rise buildings in height could severely impact the fragile ecosystem. Questioning the necessity of such massive structures in ecologically sensitive zone, she warned of potential environmental degradation. Nirmala Gowda also cautioned that the use of heavy explosives similar to those used in coal mining could trigger landslides and disrupt natural water sources. This may lead to rivers drying up and displacement of communities living along river banks. Providing a legal update, she said it was noted that the Karnataka High Court has issued a stay order on the project following a petition. Additional Solicitor General Arvind Kamath informed the court that the project has not yet received approval from the National Board for Wildlife and that concerns are under examination. She urged legal professionals to make use of the existing environmental data available on multiple government platforms and present them effectively in the court. HRPF President Dr. Ravindranath Shanbag, one of the petitioners against the project, criticized the government agencies for allegedly violating environmental protection laws through unscientific projects, calling it a contradiction of their own policies. The workshop concluded with a call for stronger environmental accountability and informed legal intervention to safeguard the Western Ghats. Actually, it is true. Western Ghats, they produce a lot of oxygen uh, for us, must be saved. I was reading about Western Ghats during my competitive examinations. So whenever I see that word, I love to read the article. So I read it. And let me read one more news of today. Political news I don't read. So summer is coming and heat stress is the problem we are going to face, and I want to read an article. It was written by Apekshita Varshni and Pratik Mishra. Let me read this article, okay? Extreme heat at work is no longer a future concern. It's shaping the reality of labor today. However, the Karnataka government's draft Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Rules 2026 falls short of embedding heat stress science and workers' lived realities into enforceable standards. The draft rules include nods to heat science, noting humidity through hygrometers, cold drinking water, and heat hazards from machinery. Yet, it remains detached from the scale of the climate crisis, ignoring how extreme heat endangers workers' health and productivity across sectors. Historically, India's labor health and safety protections have been anchored in the physical workspace, most clearly in the Factories Act. The Act treats factories as a static, indoor world regulating the built environment, ventilation, temperature, humidity, drinking water, sanitation, crowding, through design and engineering controls. This static perspective remains central within both the central government's Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code 2020 and now the Karnataka draft. We highlight three problems. First, the Karnataka draft continues to exclude the majority of workplaces, while safety committees with worker representation effectively drive science-informed worker-led interventions. The draft restricts them to establishments with over 100 workers. This abandons the majority of the working population, including in construction, platform-based work, street vending, and small and medium factories. Coverage must be widened by lowering thresholds, with safety committees established through collective associations such as town vending committees for micro enterprises, while Karnataka steps to expand the welfare architecture for gig and domestic workers are commendable. Health and safety provisions in the draft rules remain limited. I'm very sorry, this article is very boring for me, so I'm going to stop this article. Reading this article. Um, okay, about climate only one article is there. Let me read it. Okay. Over the past many decades, scientific organizations and experts have warned the world about climate change and its consequences on life in the planet. The World Meteorological Organization, the United Nations Climate Tracking Agency, has regularly released reports highlighting the evolving crisis. Its latest, the State of the Global Climate Report 2025, has presented a darker picture of our climate future, a world on the brink of a climate disaster with all the markings of an irreversible tragedy. The report says the decade that ended in 2025 was the warmest in history. Key climate indicators such as atmospheric greenhouse gases, surface temperature, ocean heat, ocean acidification, sea levels, the health of glaciers, and the extent of ice caps in the sea have consistently underlined the impending fallout. The world was about 1.43 degrees Celsius warmer than the pre-industrial average in 2025. The temperature has been rising over the last many years, even as efforts remained focused on limiting it to 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. In 2024, the atmosphere saw the highest level of concentration of carbon dioxide in the last 2 million years and the largest presence of methane and nitrous oxide in the last 8 lakh years. The report also notes the presence of excess energy accumulated in the atmosphere because of various factors. About 90% of this energy is absorbed in the form of heat by the oceans, which have seen their rate of warming double in the last 10 years. This indicates that the planet would continue to get warmer in the coming years, even if the emission of greenhouse gases is stopped now. This is the first time the WMO report has included energy imbalance that leads to excessive heat as a key climate indicator. It means that climate change has found momentum independent of actions that are aimed to control it, but accepting the inevitability risks weakening of counter strategies. The crisis warrants a strengthening of the global response, which so far has fallen short in intent and impact. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has again reminded the world about the state of emergency global climate is in. The fight demands changes in the economic policies of governments, personal lifestyles, and the world's collective vision for its future. Though there is a concerted movement that calls for such changes, and efforts are on at the international level under the United Nations auspices, the results remain uninspiring. This is a race against time where half steps won't do. So climate is changing day by day, but we cannot notice it on daily basis. But if you look back for a longer duration, you will definitely come to know that how it is changed. During our childhood, we used to see months together. Rainy season, we have to see months together, but now it is reduced. We can feel like it is a summer or other season. Okay. So it is the responsibility of individuals, government, and everyone to keep our environment healthy. Okay. I know there are a lot of mistakes and there is a disruption in the continuity of my English. I hope I will correct it in coming days. Nothing is mandatory. Supreme Court dismisses plea against Vande Mataram circular. What it is, let me read. The Supreme Court on Wednesday refused to consider a plea against a Home Ministry circular on singing the national song Vande Mataram at official events, saying that the directive was not mandatory and the petitioner's concerns were only some vague apprehensions of discrimination. A bench of Chief Justice of India, who is Chief Justice of India now, Suryakant, and Justices Joy Mallya Bakshi and Vipul M. Pancholi told petitioner Muhammad Saeed Noori, represented by senior advocate Sanjay Hegde, that the plea was premature and he might approach the court if he were to face any penal action. When the petitioner's counsel insisted that patriotism could not be compelled, the apex court asked, it can't be compelled even for the national anthem? Hegde submitted that if people were compelled to sing the song irrespective of their religion and faith, some might find it a compulsion to participate in the social demonstration of loyalty. Solicitor General of India Tushar Mehta, who was present in the court for another matter, said, "Do we need to be advised to respect the national song?" He also pointed out that there is a sense of respect for certain national emblems. The bench said, "You have been right to indicate it does not include a national song. The national song is as much an expression of the species of national identity. You may have a different point of view." It added, Clause 5 of the Union Government Directive says, "May. This freedom is as much to sing the national song as not to sing. That is why it does not fall foul of legal rights." The court said it seemed the petitioner had some vague apprehensions of discrimination which did not have a clear nexus with the impugned memorandum or impugned directive. Hegde said there are enough citizens who will feel the pressure of conform. Pressure of what? This is only a protocol. The word is when it is playing, when it is played. What is the protocol you will do? The bench asked. The court remained unconvinced and declined to entertain the plea. Okay, I think this is enough. I have a long run to go. I know that I am about 20 to 30%. I know English about 20 to 30%. As I said, I have to go long run. Definitely, uh, one day I will be a fluent English speaker. I have a lot of, I do a lot of effort. Let me see. Okay, thank you for watching this video. And if any mistakes, please comment, please correct me. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.